Hello everyone, my name is Phawx. In this video we're going to be taking a look at running Red Dead Redemption via Switch emulation using both Yuzu and Ryujinx on the Steam Deck to finally get realistically playable performance on Red Dead Redemption on a handheld, whereas before it really wasn't possible with using RPCS3 or Xenia. It just wasn't good enough. We didn't have enough horsepower on the Steam Deck to actually accomplish that task. But one of the things that I do want to address in this particular video is that one of the highlights of having the Switch, which is fundamentally underpowered compared to everything else that exists out there, a nice side effect, is that it then becomes possible to run those games on another portable that is a little bit more powerful in an easier manner, which is wild to see because we haven't really been able to play Red Dead Redemption via emulation on the Steam Deck in any meaningful capacity until this version came out. So this particular video is celebrating how underpowered the Switch is, and saying thank you, Nintendo, for making such underpowered hardware, because otherwise we wouldn't really be able to emulate them on other handhelds. So let's get into it. Alright, so here we are playing Red Dead Redemption via Ryujinx on the Steam Deck itself. Now, one of the reasons why I'm using Ryujinx here is that this was just recently updated, and so far, even just early on, there aren't as many graphical glitches as there were just yesterday. There was a lot of repeating patterns here. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and show you what Yuzu looks like right now. So I just want to show you guys quickly what I was talking about. Now, this is Yuzu running Red Dead Redemption. I'm running it on the Steam Deck naturally, and performance is fantastic. For the most part, we're pretty consistently 30 FPS the entire time. Now, obviously, there are a tremendous amount of graphical problems, anomalies, but even taking a look at how much power we're using 16.2 watt total. That is very, very little. We're using about 6.5 watt on CPU. If we were to go ahead and bring up how much actual performance is being used out of our CPU, you can see that they're hovering around really in the efficiency zone, like 2.4 gigahertz, 2.5 gigahertz, and they're bouncing around. We're not even mainlining 3.5 gigahertz the entire time like we are in Ryujinx. But unfortunately, we do have these graphical issues, so it's not really playable on Yuzu. Now, I've been told that using OpenGL instead of Vulkan fixes this, but I'm kind of a stickler for needing to run on Vulkan. So let's go ahead and go back to Ryujinx. And welcome back to Ryujinx land. So you can see there are no graphical glitches here. Now, the thing to note is that Ryujinx is going to demand a lot more than Yuzu will. Yuzu was just almost consistent 30 FPS and using very little CPU. We were much less power. You can see right now we're using 23.5 watts total. So we have a significant increase in the amount of power that is being used, and all of that is really coming from the CPUs. Likewise, when I showed you before, when we were taking a look at the CPUs themselves, we were kind of flittering around about like 2.4, 2.5 gigahertz. If you take a look at this now, you can see that every one of my CPUs are pegged at 3.5 gigahertz. All of these are demanding from the CPU as much as they possibly can, and this is the result that we're getting. So it's pretty interesting to see what's going on here, but overall, it's still a very playable experience on Ryujinx. We're going to go down to like 20, 24 FPS, which is a very PlayStation 3-like experience. So I guess it's kind of authentic in that regard. But yeah, you can just kind of see what is possible. And one of the things that I really want to kind of point out here in this particular video is that we should really be thankful that the Switch exists insofar as Nintendo going for a system that is not pushing for power so much and runs well in a handheld state for a long time on that really small battery that's on the Switch. And as a result of the Switch's lack of horsepower, one of the benefits that we get out of this is that when we need to emulate the Switch, another portable system can actually do it reasonably well, which is kind of wild to see a handheld system emulating a current gen handheld system from Nintendo. Now, obviously, it's old. It is very old, and we should see this change whenever Super Switch comes out. So that's the video that I really wanted to make here. The title of this video is very evocative. I wanted everyone to click on it. I'm not really dunking on the Switch here, despite what you may think from the title. I actually really enjoy that the Switch uses so little power. Insofar as thinking about, I mean, it's a 17 watt-hour battery on the Switch, which is nothing, and yet you'll get 3 hours even on the old models, which indicates how little power is actually being used on the Switch, and yet we're getting benefits out of it by running Red Dead Redemption. Now, this is a very hard game to run via 360 emulation or PS3 emulation, so we can see that via Ryujinx starting today, It loads really well, and for the most part is very playable. So if you had any desire to play Red Dead Redemption on PC on a low-powered machine, this is where you're going to do it. So that's it for this particular video, guys. I hope this was informative. As always, thank you for your time, and thanks for watching.